Tuomas. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm waking up. Still, I usually drive, or like when we go to the gigs. But now I was sleeping in the car, and yeah, that's very confusing
Yeah.
to me. Have like a second morning, suddenly in a day. But I think I will wake up eventually and get the gig done.
Yeah. Do you have any tiredness from yesterday gig?
Oh, not really, not really. Mainly because yeah, I usually don't sleep during the daytime, and we didn't leave from the hotel until like 12 o'clock. So it's been
Okay.
like usually it's not this relaxing.
Yeah.
So it's I think tomorrow might be different, but yeah, yesterday was super easy and yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's good that it's not stressing
No, yeah.
situation. Yeah. Yeah. But let's talk about your new album that was released yesterday. So Darconian Darkness. What can you tell about its genesis and lyrics?
Well, overall, it became to be the darkest album of Wolfheart. Mainly because of the theme, and that I think the lyrics and the topic of the album and the concept kind of like steered the style of the music because especially compared to the previous album, that was a concept album about Finnish mythology, which is very romantic topic for Finnish person because I got to dig very deep in the Finnish like beliefs and like pagan stuff and history and traditions and stuff like that. So that's not very dark and that doesn't really provide this super heavy and aggressive music. It became a little bit more like mid tempo, more melodic. But this album is more like this apocalyptic scenery where the world is ending up very soon if we don't change certain patterns of the humankind. So of course the music, because that was in my head constantly,
Yeah.
and even like with the album cover, previous album there was a skull of a bear, because that represented the king of the north. On this album it's a human skull because that's basically the funeral of the mankind. So everything, every like topic of the album was so dark, so the music came to be also very dark, at least in our scale of metal. I don't not necessarily like dark like black metal is dark, but in our discography, this is the darkest album.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are living dark times. I think it fits for the you don't need to. It's not about like what do you believe or the religions or politics or whatever, but just look around. It's things are not going well. I
No.
think everybody can admit that.
Yeah. You just needed to think about the social media, for example,
Yeah.
and how people are on social media,
Yeah.
how they act, so you can see the darkness.
Yeah, that is a good point. That's the it's super useful tool for like influencers and musicians and artists and everything, but also increasingly toxic environment. Like people don't seem to have any filter and they don't seem to like yeah, it changes the behavior of the people when you can go behind your social media profile and you don't need to feel that you are actually facing the person, that they are real persons, and that's kind of like a also ideal platform for any kind of trolls and people who just want to stir the peace and just make a lot of noise and irritate people. So it's I noticed that like with I follow a lot of my friends' bands, and sometimes if a band does something differently and releases music that is different than before, the feedback can be horrible. It wasn't like that like 5 years ago, definitely not 10 years ago. So it's like people have forgotten how to behave
Yeah.
and how to respect each other. Like there's way you can always say that not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I prefer
Yeah.
the old, but a lot of people are more taking like this insulting
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah. I don't know if you follow the Linkin Park situation.
Not that much, but I was hoping to get into that during this weekend because I knew that that's gonna be one of those where it's
Yeah.
dividing people, but it will bring a lot of bad behavior and bad language, which again doesn't make any sense. Like if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to like anything,
Yeah.
but you don't need to become a shitty person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No one is with a gun on your head and say you have to like
Yeah.
it, you have to follow, you have to, because we are free to like different kind of music, art, or whatever in general.
Yeah.
But why throw shit
Yeah,
to
yeah.
others? Why? What's the point?
Yeah.
You may stop listening to that album, but maybe the next album is going to be something that
Yeah.
that is going to be your thing. And you know, when it comes to music, musicians should experiment,
Yeah.
should also change sometimes
Yeah.
and try something different, because it's part of the artist,
Yeah.
part of the growing up and finding the way that respect their vision.
Yeah.
So it's and
And sometimes even if a band or any artist does something that you don't understand or like at all, that might be necessary, like a sidetrack for the artist to find his way again and provide even better music that you would love in the future. But you just use that opportunity to insult the other fans, and this is I don't yeah.
it's not sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm from the 80s, where when if you wanted to say something to somebody, you probably were face to face or using the old school phone and trying to reach him or her. So this is to me, this is weird behavior.
Yeah, it is. So that's the darkness.
Yeah,
That's the dark.
that is definitely part of the darkness. Yeah.
Yeah. But you use in this album also Finnish, and why did you choose to use your mother language?
It's it fit really well for that song. It's like a revenge song, and like this eye for an eye kind of like a behavior, which is also one of the darkness of the human kind. We always need to retaliate or revenge, and that's always like a stupid vicious cycle in the end. But Finnish language fits really well for this certain kind of like a angry or bitter like a topic. I guess that's something we are somehow. But also like Finnish language is really nice when it comes to doing growling vocals. A lot better than English, for example. Like a lot of languages like English or French or Italian, Greek, Swedish, they are very soft and fluent. Finnish language has super hard consonants. Our way of like the rhythmics with the syllables is very pointy and kind of like a clumsy even. That explains why we have such a harsh like what is the word when Finnish people speak English, that can be very like rally English, what
yeah.
we call. If you listen to like Kimi Räikkönen or guys like that, it can be very like a clumsy sounding. But when it comes to like doing vocals in Finnish language, especially growling vocals, it makes it sound more aggressive, because in English language you would want to put more pressure on the consonants to underline the rhythms, but you really easily overpronounce, and that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
But in Finnish language, the language is like an ideal platform, because all the consonants are already super sharp. If you listen to bands like Moonsoro or Ajattara, who only does Finnish, it sounds so raw, because you can underline the dynamics and you can underline the rhythmics and stuff like that in the vocals a little bit more aggressively than in English, and that kind of like gives us one extra like a notch for the. And while doing the vocals, it is also very enjoyable, because in English language sometimes you are kind of like holding back, because you need to do it in a way that the language is supposed to be spoken and sung. In Finnish language, you can actually go over it and it still sounds cool. So it's fun, really like fun thing to do also.
Yeah, you know, talking about the differences between English and Finnish. I remember before moving to Finland, before speaking Finnish, that I was thinking that watching interviews from Finnish artists, in English and the Finnish, they sounds different. That the voice change. When it's in Finnish, at the time, I love Finnish language, and for me it's like I will say like an eternal poetry.
Yeah.
I had my vision like this, but I remember that it was like more strong, where when in English it got more soft.
Yeah, that's the thing, because if you compare Swedish language, for example, to English, it's already
Sweet.
like it's the same level of softness. So you just
Yeah.
switch the language, but you don't need to switch the rhythmics and the dynamics of the while you speak. But yeah, that's I never actually thought it that way, but that is correct. Like Finnish people, the whole way of speaking changes when we change the language.
Yeah, yeah,
Same is it with the vocals. So you can
Yeah.
just do everything a little bit more aggressively and more freely in the Finnish language. So it gives to my ears better result. But I wouldn't want to do all the vocals in Finnish, because I think at a certain point Finnish language can also be an obstacle. Like English language gives certain more freedom in a poetic way. But I did this one like a concept album about winter, and then I used it was in Wolfheart, it was a Black Sun Ian. There I used more Finnish language, because in English there's only snow, ice, and winter, and you don't do much with those three words. But in Finnish language you have a lot more variety describing the coldness and the weather and the season, everything. Same like the Eskimos. I think they have like how many different words for just for ice.
yeah.
So it sometimes it can open a lot of doors, but in general, I do feel better with the English language.
Yeah. And talking about the music videos, two of the music videos from Grave and Ancient Cold, they were filmed in Iceland.
Yeah.
So what can you tell about those videos and the making of?
Well, they're actually part of session that we did for 3 videos. There's one video coming.
Okay.
Still, I don't know the date. Probably in October, when we're done with the Finnish tour. We've been in Iceland once already. We did Breakwater was one of the videos we did there, and we done videos in Norway and Finnish Lapland and stuff like very nice looking places. Finland has a gorgeous nature, but it looks too nice. Especially now, this concept of this album being more like an end of the world kind of thing, like but still like beautiful, but very bleak and dark, like this Finnish summer with green on the trees and blue on the lakes.
You need more rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Iceland is one of the most beautiful places in the world anyway. So we spent there almost a week shooting the footage for 3 videos totally, and now we got 2 hours. I think that fits the best for our music, and it's a lovely country, and I think that's the coolest way to spend a week. Just like have a nice enough schedule that you can actually see a lot of places, hang around with your bandmates, and just do videos instead of like going to a studio, work 8 hours and go home.
Yeah.
Because you get like this extra holiday
Yeah.
trip in a way that you wouldn't get anyway. So yeah, that was I really like this approach. Also that my bandmates enjoy that. So like when we have an album ready, then we decide the single and the video songs, and then we start planning where are we gonna travel the next, which location we want to do, and it's like adds like an extra adventure for the whole band that we can do when the album is done, before we start doing tours, because touring is always touring. It's traveling, it's hotels, backstages, backstage, airports, tour
You
buses.
don't see anything.
You don't experience in that way. You go to many countries without seeing anything of the country, but like going for days to like just driving up and down for the coast of Norway, like we did with the Zero Gravity. That's you are 100% experiencing stuff.
Yeah.
So it's basically the opposite. So I'm super glad that we are able to do that as a band, because I know a lot of bands that they don't enjoy the music video making. They think it's just like something they have to get done because the label needs a video, and then they get it done. But yeah, we do this like adventure.
Yeah, maybe they should check your videos
Yeah.
and think, oh, well, we can do this too.
Yeah.
And get somewhere and enjoy also the place, taking it like work and holiday
Yeah.
at the same time. And What time of the year was when you went there?
March.
March.
This March or April. I think something like
Yeah.
that.
Beginning of spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was right after we did our first Australian tour. So that was also like I think I spent like 4 days at home. The shock was quite big when you come to Australia and suddenly you're in Iceland. Then you're like, that's I think one of the biggest contrasts you can have on this earth.
Yeah.
From the beaches of Australia, well, we didn't get to do that many beaches, but still, the change of the environment was just like
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a winter or a summer person?
Both.
Both.
I wouldn't be able to live in Australia to have constant summer, but I wouldn't want to live in Alaska, where like 90% of the year is winter. I like the cycle of the seasons.
Yeah. And I think in Finland it's beautiful because you can see it. Because, for example, in Italy, you, at least now I know that my friend tell me about the temperature, that there is not the different season. You cannot see anymore the change. While in Finland you see clearly, you can feel in the air when summer is coming, when winter is coming, when autumn or spring. There is that, and then the nature that after the winter, when the nature starts to wake up, and it's incredible and it's beautiful. And I'm a winter person, but living in Finland, I learned to appreciate. I cannot speak, but also summer, enjoy it and live it fully.
Yeah, because it's not too much, and it's around usually like end of August, I'm really waiting for the winter. So it kind of like this the cycle of the season creates that you are always waiting for the next one.
Yeah.
And it's never like fuck, it's autumn again, or like it's short enough that you are. It's kind of I do like it. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else, even though if I want to travel. But yeah. And I love fishing. So I love ice fishing. I love summer fishing. I love fishing very late in the fall when it's almost like snowing, but there's not ice yet on the lakes or the rivers. But I also love to spend time at the rivers when the ice is disappearing. Like seeing that cycle also through one of my hobbies is also like I wait for the next fishing night. Now I can't wait to go back to the ice fishing now because
because it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense, and I hope that everybody can experience this, like seeing the change of the seasoning. And I don't know how many countries are left now because with the climatics change.
Yeah.
I think that for many the like summer is very very long and winter is not anymore that it was.
Yeah, and like Vagelis, our guitar player, he's from Athens, Greece, and those summers there are horrible. Like the temperature, even for the local people, it's too much.
Yeah.
So that's not a summer. I'm Finnish summer person more. Like I'm not
exactly.
I'm not any other summer would be too much. Like I wouldn't be able to function when it's like plus 40.
Yeah.
That's just
it's crazy. It's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot sleep well. You cannot do anything well because it's too much.
Yeah.
While with 25 degrees, it's hot.
It's hot enough. That's good enough.
Yeah. But let's get back to the band. You have been touring quite a lot this year, and now you are having this Finnish tour that is going to end in mid-October, and then you go to the European tour.
Yeah.
So how do you manage the stress of touring?
Well, Finland is always easy because in Finland we only play weekends. So it's just 2 days a week, and the distances are not that bad. Like I think this weekend we have the longest distances since we did Kuopio yesterday, and it's not that bad even. So it's Finland is super easy, and this is the European tour is the only longer one we're gonna do this year anyway. Like we did 2 weeks in Eastern Europe and Balkans, we did 1 week in Australia, so those are easy to handle. You don't get too tired. I think the tiredness is the key problem. Like you can always handle stress and problems and schedules and whatever when your head is in one place. But when you don't sleep well for more than 3 weeks, then your ability to handle all of those issues kind of like goes down and down.
Yeah.
And then like in the end you just want to go home. And well, that's why like I rather do this like a weekend or 1 week or 2 week or 3 week tours. But the Darconian tour on November, that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be good venues, and probably everything is gonna go super well. But the stress is not the biggest thing. It's not your own bed. The older you get, the more you appreciate your own pillow, your own blankets, your own morning routines. That when you wake up, there's certain silence. You're just gonna have your cup of coffee, wait for 15 minutes, not to speak to anybody. But when you wake up like 30 days in a row in a tour bus where there is 15 other persons, no space at all, you have your own space and routines, that can like wear you down a little bit. And yeah, that's I think is the biggest challenge too.
Yeah, I see. Thinking about sleeping in your bed is always the best thing. And the morning, I don't like when I wake up that someone starts to talk to me.
Yeah.
I need my time, eating breakfast and maybe going through some news. But yeah, the silence,
Yeah.
because after that silence, you can start and be social.
Yeah.
But you need that.
Yeah.
So I can see that could be a bit tiring.
Yeah.
Quite a lot actually.
Like you know that's gonna be the situation, and you have your like mind set up for the whole thing, but still 30 mornings in a row, because it's the same people every morning, same routines every morning. And I guess like I've started to create this like a different routines for my mornings, because this is the second year that I don't have a day job. I used to work as a gardener, which means I go to work super early, and I didn't really have any mornings. I just woke up, went to the car, and went to work. But now I take things super slowly. I snooze like 1,000,000 times. Then I have a cold shower for 2 minutes where I have my first cup of coffee. Then I check the news and emails and have my second cup of coffee. And that's how I start the day. And that's how I want to start my days nowadays. So the contrast is so big that that's small issues become quite a big ones when you are out from your comfort zone.
It's and that's true about thinking about the bed and the pillow. If it's the wrong pillow or the wrong bed, you can wake up with some pain on your back, on your neck, because in your 20s
I was just about to say
you
the
can
same.
you can do whatever you want. You can sleep for 2 hours, you can eat whatever, you can sleep on the floor,
Like
and nothing matters.
Any horizontal level, floor or what,
It's
so
fine.
far you sleep 3 hours and you're good to go. But now, if even if the pillow is really good quality, it's a little bit higher than that you used to, you're not gonna be able to turn your head on the next day. Like so, like again, you become like this princess. There's one small pea underneath your mattress, and then the whole day is ruined when you wake up. So
It's weird, but it is what it is.
But then again, it's important that you acknowledge that this is how it is. So I sometimes I do bring my own pillow to the tour. I'm just gonna pack that in my suitcase, and I know that at least this is something that is in my control.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my life a little bit easier. But
That's how our body work.
yeah.
But what's some plan for the future after the tours? After those 2 tours, are more tours coming? Yeah.
We don't know exactly what we want to do. North America again. I really would like to go back to Australia now that we did the first tour. Then there's a lot more places in Europe to go. There's a festival season coming. I'm gonna have some other music coming out next year with probably both Dawn of Solace and Before the Dawn, and play some shows. So overall, it's gonna be pretty packed schedule-wise.
So busy.
Busy, yes.
A busy 2025.
Yeah.
So we are going to wait for some news, checking on your social media and so on. But we have done with this interview, so thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure. Would you like to say something to your fans and people that are watching this interview?
Well, now that we are back on the road officially since yesterday, I hope to get to play to all of you as soon as possible.